All right, guys, this portion of the podcast is brought to you by Turtlebox. Guys, these are without a doubt the best outdoor portable speakers on the market. They are basically 100% waterproof, nearly indestructible. These things are insane. We have used them a lot on events hosting you guys, especially on Doe Day, and I have got 3 versions in front of me right now. I've got the new smallest Ranger. You get 12 hours of runtime out of this little guy. This is perfect for taking to the beach, or I take it on my boat a lot when I'm bass fishing. The one in the middle, this is the Gen 3 original. You're getting 25 hours of runtime out of the speaker. This is probably the most unanimous or universal used speaker. It's super easy and portable to carry around. It's really loud and gives you really good sound. And the new Grande, I played this sucker the other day. It is so loud. So if you're looking to bring the house down, you're throwing a party, the El Grande is definitely your move. 40 plus hours of runtime. It's got a really good bass to it, but the sound still sounds amazing. All of these have party mode, so you can link them all up and just really blow it out, get some surround sound going. Again, if you guys are interested in these, check out turtleboxaudio.com. You can order them online, or you can check out the local retailer options for you if you're more of an in-store guy, and you can go check them out in person and pick them up. But best portable speaker on the market, hands down, turtleboxaudio.com. All right, I'm going to let y'all in on a sneaky little tip here, and I will tell you how it almost killed me, a 150-inch deer on public in Pennsylvania. So the feature I'm talking about, or little sneaky tip, is the LiDAR feature that Spartan Forge dropped on their mapping app. It reveals the forest floor in a way that is unmatched by any other app that with their topo maps, anything like that at all. And the example I'll give is in Pennsylvania, I was using the LiDAR feature and was finding these old well roads, just these little high spots that were overgrown, and every one of them was littered with rub lines and scrape lines. And I almost killed a 150-inch deer my first sit. Got a lot of good deer on camera in these areas, and it was the LiDAR feature that Spartan Forge had that was revealing them, and you would not find that on any other competing app. So if you haven't tried it, I would encourage y'all to download Spartan Forge and check out the LiDAR feature. If you want a discount, go to spartanforge.ai and use code SEEK, SEEKONE, SEEK1 at your checkout, and you'll get a 20% discount. All right, guys, this portion of the podcast is brought to you by Vortex Optics. Guys, we've been using Vortex since day one. If you look at the units I've got in front of me, I got a pair of binoculars and a spotting scope. These ain't new. These things have been through several seasons with me, and if you look at them closely, they are scarred and they are beat to death. But I've been using them, tried and true, and without fail. But here's the deal. If I had beaten these or dropped them or broken them along the way, Vortex has a true, no BS, 100% lifetime warranty on these optics. No questions asked, no receipt needed. Send them in. If you need to call them, there's actually going to be a live breathing human who hunts and shoots as much as you do to answer the phone to help you guys get situated. The pair of binoculars I've got here is the Razor HD 10x42s. These are my tried and true pair of binoculars. They're universal. I can use them basically anywhere in the country. And if I want to get a real close look, I'm pulling out this bad boy. This is the Razor HD spotting scope. It's a 22x60, and you can really get in tight with these things to get a good look at these deer. It's summertime. They're out feeding. If you can lay eyes on them, your optics are super important. Study there a minute. We're going to keep rolling. And Vortex is the right call. We've been using them tried and true. We haven't used anything else, and we won't be. So if y'all are interested in checking them out, go to their website, vortexoptics.com, or check them out on our website, seek-one.com, search Vortex. You can find them there as well if you want to do some research on what item is the right fit for you. And do me a favor, go check out Vortex on all their social pages. They post some pretty cool stuff too. Appreciate you guys. Back to the podcast.
Have you gotten pretty good with all this camera stuff and the technological side of things, or was that always kind of your...
It's always been a struggle of mine personally. Drew's very, we were kind of talking about this earlier, just like different minds that people have. Drew's probably similar to you, like engineer. Mm-hmm. the camera gear though, like, yeah, I'm pretty proficient with it. Mm-hmm. And the reason is, like, early on, Drew and I were pretty much always taking turns filming each other. So as far as like all the crazy settings and things that camera can do,
yeah,
I'm not as detailed on that, but like I can film a hunt and all the settings and stuff. Like, yeah, I can get all that, but I'm not the brainiac when it comes to like, oh, shutter speed, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. So I can get it done though.
Yeah. I don't even know how to explain this. Like I talked about the engineering side of things and wanting to know how things work, but like I just want to see it done.
Yeah.
It's the construction guy in me of like the project. I just want to see it done.
Yeah.
And I want to know, I want updates and stuff like that, but I don't want to go into like apertures and, oh man, we got to have this, we got to have that. Like just tell me what I need to do.
I just need to know what I need to know, and then
Yep.
forget about the rest. But
Sure.
this is a podcast that I have been looking forward to. It's been I think a long one in the making.
Mm-hmm.
We're with Drake White and country music star, and we can kind of talk about we're going to get into your story. You've got an amazing story, and I think that man, some of the like, I don't know, man, it's always cool to put out a cool hunt film, but like some of the stuff that I think is like resonated the most and sort of like left more of a impact on people is some of these films that we've done just with random stories, random people, and sharing their journey and, sharing that with the world. And like it's become an important part of what we do. And, honestly, like part of what I enjoy the most is like sharing other people's stories, like giving them the microphone, giving them the spotlight, because there's a lot of people out there with like really amazing stories. I mean, hardships. Like we did a story last year with the Ellis family, Troy Ellis, and it's like really, really, really sad.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of good, and it's good to bring up now because it's probably been a year since we launched that film, and it's like the ripple effect that we've seen from that film has been like miraculous. Just the stories and feedback we've gotten and how it's connected with certain people. And I think your story will be just as powerful and resonate with a lot of people. So, but
yeah, I'm familiar with that. When y'all came out, I think hunting is healing, or it was something.
Yeah.
Because I remember I'd been working on this for like 2 or 3 years, and I wrote a song called "The Hurt's the Healing." And what I've realized is our energy, when you put an idea out into the ethos, like it's not about people like that. Rick Rubin, that book that Rick Rubin's a really famous producer, amazing producer. And he talks about ideas. When you put an idea out there, that it just it's out there in the ethos, even if you just think it. So I had this song called "The Hurt's the Healing." It was one of the big songs that got me through my stroke. We'll get into more of that, but like that song, "The Hurt's the Healing," turned into "The Hunt's the Healing." And so when y'all came out with that, I watched it immediately because I was like, oh, well, they're, not that I was like, I was a huge fan before, not that I thought that my title was gone, but you build stuff around these storyboards. And so anyway, I saw that episode, and that's why I wanted to talk to you. One of the main reasons is because it's so powerful when you go out there, and I just wanted as many people as could see that, I want to see it. As many people that can see this, I want to see it. And that there's no ego in that for me. There's no battle of who is doing what and whose idea is what. It is all just, hey, God put this story in my life. It was really hard to go through it, and maybe somebody can see it and decide to wonder how I got through it. Because I got through it with Christ. I got through it with my faith. I got through it with hunting. I got through it with music.
Yeah.
And so that was my intention's always been good, and I love that story, man. Y'all did such a great job.
The hunting is healing thing, like hunting, it's so much more than just hunting, right? I mean, it's, hunting was, and then still to this day is like what gets them through. It's what gets me through. I can't imagine my life without hunting. And a cool story about the Troy Ellis film that we did is, you know, we're always like, man, I hope that this does well. Like, because like you said, I want people to see this. If there's one video we put out there, like, I want them to see this one. You know, forget all the deer hunts. Like, watch this one. But you never know with social media, like, and algorithms, you know, how it's going to perform, and maybe it's going to flop, and everyone sort of feels disappointed. But and not disappointed, but at the end of the day, if one person that watches it and if they're positively affected, like, that's all we could ever ask for. But what was cool about that one, the Hunting is Healing one, is that it was like number one. YouTube always has this ranking of like the last 10 films you've posted, and it shows the ranking of, you know, this one is performing number 5 of the last, you know, 10 you've posted. And I was just like, I almost felt like a weight on my shoulders. Like, I hope that this does well. And it was like, I was not expecting it to be number 1. I was like, you know, hoping it just kind of like middle of the road, like did okay. And it was like number 1 at that time of year for us. And it was like, to me, it was just like a little miracle in itself. And like, so yeah, I hope that I hope as many people can possibly listen to this. We got connected in kind of we got a lot of mutual friends. And we were in that NWTF, which is always madness. And it's like really hard to, loud music, just lots of people going, you know, just, it's really hard to like kind of take a deeper dive in a conversation with somebody. But, you know, I got kind of the cliff notes of your story. But I'm like excited about this to really take a deeper dive into it.
Well, I was telling earlier, I think the listeners too, listen to this, like we were in, you know, the duck blind, the after party, we're having a good time. I got tons of respect for you. You know, a lot of people are in that industry, and I'm also the kind of dude that I would rather have 1 or 2 really good conversations than 50 surface conversations. Yeah, that's just the way I am. And I was going to leave, you know, there was a lot of people, you know, people taking pictures, and I've got my 2 nephews there that are diehard hunters and huge fans of you, huge fans of country music. It's an exciting night for them. And they're like 19 in a bar, or maybe 18, 19 years old, you know, and they're getting to come. So we're like on our way out, and I was just going to let it be. God will present the opportunity for me to tell you my story when he can. And I literally felt something pull me and was like, no, just walk over there. So I told Tyler, I said, hey, see if you can get Lee's attention. He got your attention. I walked over there, and I apologized to you when he pulled up, because I was like, hey, I got this crazy story, man, about this deer that kind of saved my life and kind of got me, you know, out of a paralytic state, and like just tons of God in it. And I'm just huge fan, man. And you're just like, yeah, So thank you for just stomaching that, me yelling in your ear, and coming to my house today and just, you know, it's a crazy story. Yeah. You know, that
I'm excited to hear it. Before we get into that, I'd kind of like to know a little bit more of your story, you know, before that. Like, you're from Alabama, right? Yeah,
I'm from Hoax Bluff, Alabama, which is right outside of Gadsden, about 50 miles north of Birmingham, where y'all were turkey hunting with Riley on Riley Green's property, 3 miles from there.
Yeah. And I'm in just like driving attire because I'm on a road trip.
Yeah.
And so I'm wearing the Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, your last shirt. And I was like, I'm going to change it. But you were like, no, that's like Talladega. It's like right where I'm from. So, all right, so we're just going to leave it.
It makes me comfortable, you know?
Yeah. It's casual. It's like, you know, I'm here. I'm going to drop the ball on that line. It's like, I'm here to party, but I'm here to, I don't know. What's the line?
What is it? I'm not good at this. I'm not good at the quote, like movie quotes, but I know the line you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like I'm here to be formal, but I'm here to party. Something. Anyways,
it's like the mullet thing.
Yeah. Something. Anyways, so
I got it.
From Alabama, how'd you even get into music?
So I went to Auburn, graduated from Auburn, building science.
I saw the Alabama football. I don't what.
So there's a big story, man. My grandfather's brother.
I was like, great. We're going to connect over Roll Tide, Alabama. But.
We can. We grew up huge Alabama fans. My dad that you just met, huge Alabama fan. Alabama, it's Alabama or Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
My grandfather's brother was a team dentist, the story goes, and he was friends with Bear Bryant back in the Bear Bryant days. And we were just my grandfather that taught me to hunt, taught me to trap. He was a preacher, taught me to pay attention to the wind and what direction it was blowing, and just an awesome philosophical guy that just, was also a little bit of a redneck, which was awesome. Was a huge Alabama fan. And he passed away when I was 16, small town, like I said, in Alabama. And I'm just crazy about music, hunting, and just the outdoors, just being outside. And he passes away, and my buddy's dad had 83 acres down in Auburn that they hunted, and one of my best buddies from high school, biggest Auburn fans you've ever seen in your life. Shout out to Taylor Morgan if you're listening to this, and Randy Morgan. Some of the best hunters I've ever seen in my life. Randy is the most innovative, just will weld anything to make his movement just a little smaller to capture he's a great hunter. And the opportunity, I was good at math, decent at science, and I wanted to start a construction company. I wanted to be Greg Kemp, but better looking, No, I'm just kidding. We're both friends with Greg Kemp.
Yeah, that's a good burn.
Yeah. But I loved that challenge of building stuff and putting people together, and that's what I was good at. So building science was a degree at Auburn that you could go, and I could be that close to that hunting property, and I lived in a cabin 20 minutes outside of Auburn that was built in the late 1800s, and just lived on about 25 acres and had about 85 right down the road. And Auburn was the place. Building science was the degree. And so I went to Auburn, and I remained because my family was like, there's no way you can go to Auburn and remain an Alabama fan. My personality is very much like, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm
the same way.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it every time. And I'm going to hang in there, and I'm going to climb the same tree, and I'm going to keep going. I'm just hard-headed like that. And I remained an Alabama fan while I went to Auburn the whole time. And then I got out of Auburn, graduated by the skin of my teeth, and I realized that I loved Auburn, and I really just like chicken wings. I like football. I played football. We won a state championship in football my senior year. Go Eagles. But at the end of the day, I was like, Saban, you got to respect Saban and his ability to mold a young man's mind. Auburn for me, is like your good old ag country boy, and that's me, man. I'm about the dirt. Let's grow it. Let's try to figure out, and that's that school. It's like the redheaded stepchild of Alabama, which I'm just the underdog, and that's the way I feel.
So my brother went to Auburn, and I went to Alabama, and I didn't know that. My I'm a newlywed, so my wife, born and raised Tuscaloosa. Mm-hmm. So like Iron Bowls get pretty heated at our house.
Yeah. There's nothing like it.
Luckily, Alabama's been pretty on top the last 10 years. But
I don't know. That game.
Times are changing though. We got a new coach. I don't know.
There's nothing like that game.
Glory days might be done.
Yeah.
There's. I don't care if Alabama is the number one team in the country, and Auburn is the last team in the country. Auburn will play their best game at that Iron Bowl.
I just got chills. Wow. Is there anything better than sitting on a Dove bucket with Eli Gold in the background?
No.
There's nothing better. There is nothing better than shooting a dove and watching it fall with touchdown Alabama in the back. I just got chills again.
I know, dude. Same, because it's right around the corner.
It's right here.
It's nearing end of July, and it's going to be here quick. I feel like I feel like the last several months of my life have been a blur, and it's like, blink and here we are again. But man, I'm looking forward to fall football. So
Me too, dude.
So how'd you get it? How do you even discover you have a talent for music? Like how'd all that kind of come about?
I was at Auburn, and a buddy of mine that was in landscape architecture, Adam Barb, was he's like, man, I'm broke, and he knew I sung some, and I'd never really sang publicly. I just, She Talks to Angels and some Charlie Daniels and Alabama songs. Like, I knew all of those tunes, and he's like, I am so broke. Let's go buy some Martin guitars. And
to be clear, so you haven't sang public, just like around the house, like
church, around the house, and at a beauty contest at Hoax Bluff. I sang "I'll Be" by what's his name? I'll be your crying shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name? Doesn't matter. We, so I knew I loved to sing. I always loved music. Was always drawn. It was burning CDs and sharing. That's how we grew up. So it was like, but my sister was 2.5 years older. So it was everything from Tupac, Sublime, to Charlie Daniels and, Marshall Tucker Band, Limp Bizkit. Kid Rock was just coming out, to Boston and the Allman Brothers, and just soul and funk music. And it was just like, it was one of those things I never had to try to, it
just came naturally.
Was always there.
Yeah.
Rhythm was always there. I was always tapping. I was always the one that putting it on at the parties before you could just pull up and be a DJ with a phone. Like, I was always trying to figure out how to set the mood with music. and I could sing. So Adam Barb, fast forward to, I sang around some campfires, and my first time was around actually the I'll Be thing at the Hoax Bluff Beauty Pageant. And then Barb said, I'm broke. Let's buy some guitars. I had a guitar, but let's buy some guitars and a PA on a stick, and let's make some money. AKA, why don't you buy all the stuff and I can play guitar and you can split the money with me.
Yeah, you can make me some money.
So we did that, and we set up in a cul-de-sac the very first night with our JBLs that are right in there in that attic, same ones. JBL, 15-inch speakers on stands, didn't know how to run any of it. Barb knew how to do all that. Set up, started jamming. An hour later, there was 150 people there, and the cops got called. Cops come in the cul-de-sac, and the girl was like, you sound good. She was a girl cop. But we got to shut you down. You can't, it's loud. But y'all sound good. And the girl was like, the girl cop was cute. Like, she was good looking. And so I'm in college. I start flirting with her. And I start and she said, my buddy owns Wings to Go right up the road. Let me call him and see if he's got a spot. Well, erase all the stuff. We played there for 3 years in a row every Saturday night. And
Really?
it held 110 people. And we watched those 50 people that were in that cul-de-sac. There'd be 250, 300 people. The owner of that place, Craig, loved us because we were there, every night. And it became that college thing of like, everybody knew we were like little rock stars in this little college. Not quite rock stars, but everybody knew who we were. And the football team would come by. Some people would come by, local folks, and met Adam Hood there. I don't know, Corey Smith was real big at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And we just did it, man. And we did it on, Skinner and Marshall Tucker Band and Merle Haggard and Pearl Jam. We did all these different songs, and I was just, I do Bob Marley song, and then I do a gospel song, and
just kind of like a melting pot of.
And God, yeah, and it was like, this is easy. And I'm the kind of guy that would hit batting practice till my hands bled just to start on the high school baseball team.
Yeah.
Like, I just have been the worker. And to this day, I pride myself on working harder than anybody in the room. That's just who I am. So this was easy, Lee. Like, I didn't have to work to do this. I knew the songs. I didn't have to do anything. It was just there. So that is what I've like. Now I realize at 41 years old, I realize like that's your God-given thing. If you don't have to work at it, and it's just like, here you go. And so we did that, and I was like, during the middle of the Auburn deal, I was like, I'm moving to Nashville. And I started writing my own songs, and I'd always jotted stuff down and wrote things and been a little deeper than the bathtub, but I never like understood what that was.
Yeah.
And then I realized you could make a living writing songs, but I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be, and I moved to Nashville, and, 4 years went by before anybody said a word because it wasn't really that good yet. But I put my hours in, played every dive you could, played every writer's round, everything, and ended up getting signed and opened up for Willie Nelson and everybody else.
How hard is it to get noticed in Nashville? Like, is it like there's scouts out there that are, at these places at night listening? Like how do you separate yourself? Like, how does that work? Like, how did you get noticed?
Yeah.
Just enough word of mouth, people talking, or?
My knee-jerk reaction to that statement is no. It's so easy to get noticed anywhere because there's so many outlets. But then if you think about it, it's hard to get noticed because there's so much stuff everywhere. And it doesn't matter how good of a singer you are or it does matter how good the song is. But if you've got a great song and you've got a great sound and you've got a great voice and you've got, this last one's probably the biggest one, the tenacity to hang in there and keep driving and keep pushing and keep doing it like you chase these deer, you will get a shot. You will get a shot in Nashville, and I'll stand by that. But I did it for 4 years at Losers. Me and John Party played from 10 to 2 on Monday nights right in front of Irv Woolsey, and I would look at Irv and be like, dude, do you not hear this? Is this not good enough? And Irv would be like, nope. Not yet. And he was right. It's not. Be undeniable. I don't mean to be Tony Robbins or Cam Haines sitting here, but like when it gets to be undeniable, it's undeniable. Like you're going to get it. So anybody that's out there listening you want to come to Nashville and everybody's going to be playing, everybody's going to be singing, but man, if you'll show that discipline of like, no, I'm going to dive in and figure it out.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Music. So this is like kind of a joke, but kind of not. My dream is to be a hit singer. Like, I love music, and I'm guilty of singing way too much around friends and family, like annoy them to death. And I don't have a great voice. In my mind, I have the best voice.
Yeah.
But I'm like constantly singing. I've always loved music, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just the way I'm wired, but like it's like this is what's crazy to me. And there's things about music that fascinate me. Two things I'll say. One is I can hear a song that I haven't heard in 15 years, and I'll remember every word.
Yeah.
And it's like if you ask me to memorize something, math equation, and I sat there and studied it for hours, maybe I'll memorize it. I'm definitely forgetting it in a week. But there's something about music that like just it almost like taps into a different part of your brain.
Yep.
And the other thing I'll say about music that's always like fascinated me is like there are songs I can't listen to. I just can't. Whether it reminds me about my dad or just like a moment of time in my life that was difficult. Like there are songs out there that I have to avoid. Because if I hear them,
what is one of those songs?
One of them is the one off the top of my head is from Luke Combs. It's about his dad. It's even though I'm leaving. That one I cannot listen to. Yeah, like I just can't. Like it hits a
nerve.
part of me that just like. Losing my dad, and I could literally start crying right now thinking about it. Like losing my dad is one of my biggest current fears in my life. I just love him to death. And same with any family member really, but like,
yeah,
my dad's getting older and I just like I always have this feeling of like, does he know how much I love him?
mm-hmm.
Have we done enough things together?
Same.
Like you can't ever prepare for losing someone close. And it's like, I hate that I'm kind of even thinking about that instead of being like totally present. But there are songs like that just like make you think about, maybe when that day comes and like how sad it's going to be. And it's like, I just can't listen to that song.
Powerful.
Super powerful.
Yeah.
There's songs out there that are just like crazy powerful.
Yeah. Well, to me, music is mathematical, and putting melody to mathematical equations is how I got through a lot of the building science school. I know that's a boring response to what you were saying, but I just think that it's the soul. It's the comprehensive language that everybody speaks, and there can be no prejudice to it. Like if you like a groove, if you like a song or a feel, and you're dancing at the same, and you're pulsing, and you're like, you can really break down walls with that, man.
Yeah.
And there's no prejudice to it. There's no bigotry. There's no anything. And that's why I love music. It's opened up so many doors for me that, us and our male ego, hunting industry, music industry, gotta be tough, gotta be thick skin. And then we get to go write these songs with these buddies. And I'm met some of the toughest guys, the Jamie Johnsons of the world. And you go write a song with them and it's like, oh, that's one of the most sensitive lines. It's one of the most sensitive dudes and deep thinking guys. Randy Houser, same way. Lee Bryce, same way. Like these guys, Riley, they're like, just music breaks down the walls. And I think that is, that's a God thing, man. God does that with melody, like the songs of David. And when David, is a great musician, and he was also a great warrior. He was also just a deep thinker. And I think having the empathy to write and sit down and write something that's going to make a guy like you remember his dad, that is so powerful. And that's why I do it. I love it.
I could talk about country music for days. Cause like
Me too.
I love music. It has always been like this secondary dream of mine to be a singer.
Mm-hmm.
I just was not how it came easy to you. I don't have that. It's like, this is all right. Vulnerable moment.
Yeah. Go ahead. Come on.
I will sing a song in the shower.
Oh, I thought you were about to sing right now.
No.
I'm like, cool.
Absolutely not. I will sing a song in the shower, and I'll be listening to myself, and I'll be like, man, this is good. Like this is good.
Yeah.
So I'll record myself. There are voice memos on my phone right now of me singing in the shower, and I'm sitting there in my head thinking how good I sounded, and I'll listen to it back on the phone, and I'm like, this is trash. Like it's just not in the cards for me.
Oh man, that's great though.
Yeah.
I think I've got a really, really funny story, and I'll make it quick because I want to get into
Yeah.
But I used to record myself answering the phone with my girlfriend back when answer machines were a big deal. I can't believe I'm telling you this. Vulnerable, big time. And I'd be like, hey, Amanda, first girlfriend, 6th grade, 7th grade. This is Drake. You look sexy today, And I'd be like, I want to get with you. I don't only want to get with you. I want to bang you. I would get dirty. I want to F you. I want to, and I'm 12, dude. And I would listen to, hey, Amanda,
Listen to it back.
So listen to it back, and then I would erase it.
Yeah.
And man,
wasn't good enough.
Wasn't good enough. But I was like, yeah, I like that. I'm really getting good, getting my voice deeper, getting some hair under my arms. I'm getting it. Well, my parents were gone to Wednesday night choir practice, and I was playing contra upstairs. Never forget. I was like in it. I'd been recording those and recording them and racing. My mom comes downstairs and I'd record one. And I said, "Hey, Amanda, this is Drake. I got something for you. I want to sleep with you. I want to bang you. I want to F you."
Yeah.
I hear it from upstairs. Beep. "Hey, Amanda."
Oh no.
And my mom and dad are listening. And dude, I run downstairs. I'm like, dude, I am just so beside myself embarrassed. And my mom is looking back on it. It's one of the funniest stories. We always tell it when you just met her down there. It's hilarious. But that's how obsessed I was with hearing sonically.
I got tears in my eyes.
Oh, it was. I mean,
I'm thinking of stories of my things that my parents have caught me over the years. Same, just like ultra embarrassing moments.
There's nothing worse as a 12-year-old than that.
Yeah,
there's nothing worse. It was brutal. So yeah, I get it. So keep recording yourself, man.
Yeah, maybe one day. I like it's honestly gotten. God, I'm really revealing too much personal. I've literally thought about, well, maybe if I hired like a vocal coach, like a singing coach, maybe that'll like turn the corner for me. And it's like I've looked into it, and it's just it's not in the cards.
Yeah,
just like you talked about, it came easy, and you can kind of tell like that's where you're meant to be, like a God-given talent. That ain't it for me.
Yeah.
The hunting thing, I think is.
I think you've cracked the code for sure.
It's just like you asked me earlier, and it's funny whenever I'm doing a podcast, I always try to not talk much at all.
Yeah, he shut me down earlier.
I shut you down pretty hard. And you asked me the question, like I guess it was the spot and stalk one you were asking about, like if I was like jacked up about it. Well,
hold on. There's this moment, not to interrupt you, but like there's this moment when you're on stage where all time stands still. Everything is locked into that moment that you've prepared for. And that's where I was getting to, of like that when you're watching it, you're fast forwarding the camera because the rain, the this, the wind, the this. And you can see, like, my question was like, were you amped the whole time? Were you like, okay, I got to breathe here. Like, I got to calm myself. Or were you just like, I know when it stops raining, he's going to stand up. And so I'm going to relax.
It was, so early on in my hunting, like I made so many mistakes. And it was like, I know it was directly related to adrenaline, not being able to control adrenaline, and rushing things. And that's what was keeping me from thinking clearly and like making the right shot, the right timing, like all the stuff. It was not being able to control the adrenaline and just rushing things. And early on in my hunting, like I made countless mistakes on really nice bucks. And then I think there was something that has triggered in me since, and I don't know what or why or how it happened, but it was when my hunting just like turned a corner, and I get really calm, like scary calm. Like that whole hunt that we're talking about, the spot and stalk in the rain, like I was eerily calm the whole time. Like, and I remember even thinking back on it, I'm way too calm right now. This is crazy. Like I felt in full control. Obviously I wasn't, but you get what I'm saying. Like I felt like I was in full control of my inner emotions.
Yeah.
Same thing with the deer earlier, the 212, and watching him for almost 30 minutes walk 25 yards to us. Like eerily similar feeling of like, there would be moments where like you'd feel your heart rate elevate, but then I could just like totally just tone it back down. And I feel like it's like you're entering almost like a Zen sort of like kill mode sort of. Maybe that's what it is. It's like you're entering into a mode where it's like like he's dead. Like you are just fully focused. Every ounce of you is like focused into the task at hand, and nothing else matters. And so it just kind of feels like I'm brainless almost in that, and it's just like happening.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm kind of curious, and then we'll be done with all my Nicky Nack questions. But like I do like seminars now where I get asked to go do talk about deer and hunting, whatever, and I'm curious if this is sort of similar, even hunting experiences, but this is similar to like you performing on stage in front of thousands of people. It's like I get nervous when I'm leading up to it, but then it's like once I do it and it's happening, I'm like good to go. I'm curious because you kind of made the statement like time stands still. I'm kind of curious like what you meant by that when you're like on stage.
There's just no there's no thought. There's no nervousness to any of that for me. The lead up, sure. But once you take stage, like that's the kill mode. Like I'm that's the easy part. Let's go.
Like the butterflies on the front end, and then
I'm in. I'm out there. I'm doing the God-given thing. The arrow's knocked. It's all done then. So I love that feeling of preparation and just knowing I'm about to come out here and I'm about to come out here and do exactly what I'm built to do. Yeah. So there's no nervousness once the game starts. But man, leading up to it, that's some good. I've learned to control that. So hunting for me, it crosses over because that thing for me, you would think that I could control. I've learned that's a different thing. I didn't really start seeing big deer until, and witnessing big deer in the wild until 2019, really. I mean, I'd chased and killed 110, 120 inch deer before in Alabama, and I'd learned how to be a good patient hunter. But it doesn't matter until you see 150 inch, 160 inch deer in front of you, and then how you going to act then. Yeah. And I think that is when I started turning a corner in my career, and music is saying be less impressed and more involved. So when you meet Willie Nelson, go over a set of questions, not to contrive it, but be in the moment, but go over a set of questions like what would you like to get from that meeting? And think about that. Before the deer comes in, where could he might come in? Where is he gonna? I know you do that. You visualize it, you see it. So that's what I started doing hunting. That's what I started doing with my life, and that's what I started doing across the board, and it's helped a lot. But I killed a 170 inch deer in Illinois last year, and I had him with a muzzle loader, and the way that happened so quick, I didn't realize how jacked I was. But the training of the stage, I think, helps with all of that, because while it's going on, I'm like breathe. I'm like just breathe.
Almost like you've experienced,
or
just because you've performed in front of thousands and like handled that adrenaline, you think it does translate over into hunting.
I think it does. My point was that I still get extremely excited.
Oh yeah,
and I'm addicted to that. Like, stage, hunting are two of the main things. Like, they are the main things.
Yeah.
For me. So I do think they correlate. They're totally different, but it's still the same heart beating. It's still the same nervous system with the same filters and the same patterns that I have to calm down. I know how to calm that down. And, having a near-death experience has helped with that too. Calming my heart rate down, because like when that scenario in your head, not to take this straight to deep land, but when it's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to die or not, like you have to calm down and you have to rely on, that's where your faith comes in.
Yeah.
and you're like,
Well, let's go ahead and dive into it. So take us to that day, like kind of give us where you were, what was going on, and give us some background. And then
So I got a headache early 2019 January. I was running about 5 miles a day. We were going to Australia on a big tour, and we were going on a big tour with Zach Brown that year. Things were happening. I was 34 years old, and I'm kind of, get through working out. I go to lunch, and at lunch, I got a headache. And when I say a headache, it was like level 10 migraine, to the level of like I had to come home and go to bed, middle of the day, which never happens. And ended up getting an MRI, and the MRI showed a mass in the back right side of my brain, called an AVM, arterial venous malformation, that I was born with. Okay, how do we get rid of it?
how old are you this time?
I'm 34.
Okay. So you didn't know it existed at all until 34.
Most of the time, people are found in ditches at 60 with these things ruptured in their brain, and they die. That's how they're found. So I'd wore my brakes out, and that is the exact words that a neurologist used, because I'm a singer and I push so hard when I'm singing. All right. So this is a wad of mass, a lesion behind my right ear in the mobile cortex of my left side that is robbing adequate brain flow, blood flow from my brain. And it was making my fingertips numb a little bit, but never a headache like this. But he goes through and he said, you have an AVM. It's 1 in 17,000, like 1 in 32,000 are in people's brains. But good news is we can embolize it on Mondays. You can rest Tuesday and Wednesday, and you can be back on the road Thursday and Friday. I said, great. So here's some blood pressure medicine, and go back and do your thing. Well, we go do 50 shows, have 4 embolizations. It was going to take 8 embolizations because this AVM was the size of a lime, which was, he said it was the biggest one he had ever worked on. And he worked on 15,000 of them.
Jeez.
So big deal. So we get through 4 embolizations. I feel great. I'm in the best shape of my life because I wasn't drinking anything. I was paying attention to my health because I had that scare. So I go to Roanoke, Virginia, and he had told me after that 4th embolization, you're under the 1%, like, chance of it rupturing. So I go out to Roanoke, Virginia, and I take the stage, and I walk out on stage, and it's like 2,500 people. It's probably 95 degrees. And I walk out and tear into 2 or 3 songs. And about the 3rd song, my hand started tingling. And my mentality is just everything else, shake it off and keep going. And then I realized my legs felt extremely heavy. My left foot felt like it had like a bowling ball on it, like I could barely pick it up. And about that time, I heard a loud, like a gunshot go off in my, like a .22 rifle in the back right side of my brain. It goes, and it just went beep. And the most excruciating level 50 migraine headache just flooded, and I started vomiting. And I knew right away that it had ruptured. And everything, it started sounding like the guy on Old School that got shot in the neck with a dart.
Yeah.
Like
slurred.
Everything just slowed down like this. And the sky turned freaking green and the grass turned blue. And I mean, it was just like the trippiest thing ever. I was 3 minutes from a trauma 1 unit where they rushed me to the hospital.
So you were conscious the whole time that this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So you were on stage, and then did you were you standing the whole time? Did you hit the floor? I mean, what was?
I staggered back, and one of my bandmates, Zach Knudsen, my creative director, saw that I was struggling to come up with the words. I was forgetting the words, and that was the first sign. Like I couldn't think about. And he was like, "Hey, are you okay?" In my ears, "Hey, are you okay, Drake? You all right?" And then the next thing I knew, I was on a stretcher, headed to the hospital. So but watching it back, the live footage, which is such a blessing that we had EMTs watching us, and there were people there, and I'm like staggering around, and you could see me yeah, trying to shake it off, trying to be like, what am I doing? And I didn't know what, you forget what you're doing. You forget your words. You forget, and like I said, the weight of everything just kind of felt like everything pressed down on my chest. And then that gunshot went off. So rushed me to the hospital, and I'm so thankful for the nurses and all the doctors, because 18 minutes after it started bleeding, they administered a coagulant, because my type A personality wife had composed a booklet of what all of my stuff and gave it to my tour manager. My tour manager gave it to the EMTs and said, get him to the hospital. This is what's going on. They open it up. It shows the AVM, shows exactly where it's at. They administer the stuff, and it coagulates the blood, the brain bleed that caused the hemorrhagic stroke. Like that's what was happening. So they got it to quit bleeding, but it paralyzed my left side. And so I had to relearn how to walk again and all of that stuff. But during this time, this is 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes after the gunshot. And I see tons of people gathered around having conversations about ports, sepsis, about being brain dead, about being like, I could hear them just talking, and I couldn't decipher if that was like heavenly voices or if it was actually doctors. I think it was doctors, but there was these four figures in the corners of the room, and they were very confident, and they wouldn't give me any pain medicine because they wanted to make sure that I wasn't brain dead. They wanted to make sure I could wiggle my fingers, and I couldn't wiggle my toes, but they wanted to make sure I could blink. Where you at? Where,
So when you're hearing this, like, how, are you clear on, or is it feel like a dream? Like, or you're like, I know who that is. I'm hearing exactly the words they're saying. I may not be able to respond, but like
a little of both.
Okay.
A little of both. If they asked me where I was at, I would have been like Virginia, like that. So it was a little of dream sequence. This is starting into the dream sequence, like more heavily.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's not drugs. They hadn't given me any pain medication yet. And I saw these four figures in the corner of the room, and everything just got super calm. Everything got really peaceful, and my breathing, I remember, as long as I'm breathing, I'm alive. So just keep breathing. And I've always thought that Yahweh sounded like breathing, like, and I just remember just saying the name of Jesus and saying Yahweh over and over and over, and just breathing, and just so peaceful. Well, later on, after I'd got home, fast forward and back in Nashville, my wife told me that she had prayed for angels to surround the room and guide the doctor's hands. And that's what that was. It was four angels that gave me that peace, because my head was splitting, and it subsided, and I wasn't on pain medication. And I could kind of feel myself not leaving the room, but I could feel myself and there was this bright light, and I'm pushing into the dream sequence I was telling you about. But the bright light was like, I didn't see his face, but I felt this unbelievable peace of like, everything's going to be fine. Just keep breathing and keep pushing forward. And I kind of basically asked me if I was ready. And I was like, no, I'm ready for what? Not ready. I got a Australian tour. I got Zach Brown. I got plenty of stuff. And that was how quick it was that the veil was lifted. And I think that I know that was an interaction with angels and with God. It was Jesus, because that's that's who it is in my mind. That's who it was. But I'm telling everybody now, like, it was immediate. Like, there was no like this esoteric journey through anything. It was immediate. The veil was lifted. I was right there. It was super peaceful. The creator of the universe was right there and like, are you ready? Are you good? Are you okay? He was taking care of me. And my wife prayed for those 4 angels. And I didn't know that till months later. We were on our front porch and she was like, we saw a cloud across the sky that looked like an angel. And I said, that looks like the Archangel Michael. And she told me this story of praying to surround the room with 4 angels in each corner. And so I think it's that quick. You ask for it, it's there. And if I would have been taken that day, I feel like it would have been a great life and it would have been a good thing. But I remember not wanting to go. I remember just wanting to be back with my wife, back with, because we hadn't had our number one yet. We hadn't had our kid yet. We hadn't had, I hadn't done everything I wanted to do. And it's almost like the maker, the bright light, the creator knew that. It's like, no, this guy's got more. He's got more to go. And
was it like a voice? Like, did you hear words, or was it more like a feeling of that? Like,
it was the only voice was one that said, get up. And I hesitated because I couldn't move my left leg. And this was the week or two after the stroke was very cloudy. But this might have been a week after the stroke, might have been 2 weeks after the stroke, but about a week, 4 or 5 days, something like that, I believe. But I couldn't move my left side. I was completely paralyzed. All this left side was gone. And God said, get up. And I was like, I can't get up. And I knew I was talking to God. And it was basically like, get up in this. I grew up in this. My grandfather preached in this church with red carpet. And there was red carpet there. There's red pews, red everything. And I was like, in my head, I can't get up. And that was me second guessing God. Like, and I was like, oh no, I just second guessed God. Like, I got to get up. And Alex said I hadn't moved in like a week. And I just jump up out of bed, like everything gets, and just, it was like a lightning bolt hit me. And I'll tell everybody, like, I know this stuff seems broken and it's this, it is right there, right behind the veil. Like, it is just literally right there, and anybody can do it at any second, So it's just not this crazy thing that I think the world tries to get you away from the thought of it's just right there. It's just right there, man. And I'm able to talk with a greater confidence of that there is a divine power that's guiding us and guiding me. And it was a beautiful thing.
I was going to ask, like, most people go their whole lives without having some kind of experience like that, kind of like a peek behind the veil, like you're talking about, near-death experience kind of thing. And it's like, how does that change your perspective? I mean, it has to change your perspective a lot just to like have experience and seen that. And it's like, I mean, I know that's something you carry with you forever, but like, I mean, how has that like kind of changed your perspective? Like, is it just like an understanding that like God's not that far away?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I like that. I like that answer. It really made me even more keenly aware of the spiritual warfare that goes on every day with our minds, with our bodies. You told me today that you had a couple of phone calls that got you back, but my thought there is probably your thought of like that turnaround that you had to go do kept you from a wreck that could have happened.
I think about that all the time.
And it's just the way it is. So the presence of the Lord is always right there, and it's not made in some Southern Baptist church. It's not made in some New York, this religious thing. It is right there in each one of us. That's why I love redbirds. I love the trees. I love hunting and being out there because I feel it in the wind. I feel it on which direction I should go. Just hunting, I ask him, which way would you go if you were a deer? Which way would I? And that's God guiding me. If I see a hawk, my son's name is Hawk because he showed me a hawk when we were going through 7 years of infertility. And 7s and 3s and 4s, all these numbers, they all mean something. They all mean something. You know why? Because I believe they do. And that near-death experience lifted the veil, and I think it gives me the authority to speak. If I could trust in God's plan through this, and I could still be saying that his plan is the greatest and that I trusted in his plan, then that came with an authority to maybe a non-believer or somebody that was second guessing, a creator to the creation. And maybe that would give me the authority to go in and speak to the guy on the bar stool after playing in all these places for my whole, and that's why it happened. It's why it happened because now I've started speaking, and not to be Tony Robbins of the South or whatever, but it's like it gives you another perspective. And I have bad moments, bad couple of hours, but I rarely have a bad day anymore.
Yeah.
I don't let it go that far.
Yeah, I think, everybody's human, right? So it's like, I think, I don't know, man. Like my faith for me is I've always tried to keep it simple. It's like at the end of the day, it's a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to call it this Baptist or Catholic or what. I'm not saying those things are bad. It's just like for me, and it's just like, so I think sometimes we can overcomplicate stuff.
For sure.
And to me, it's always just been like at the end of the day, it's a relationship. And one of my most like religious experiences in my life, or just like presence of God experiences in my life, is I went through a rough time, in my 20s, and then ended up getting baptized like on the back end of all that, just going through my journey. And like you talk about adrenaline, like we're talking about earlier, and how it can kind of like alter the mind. And I've experienced adrenaline in several forms now, with whether it's like public speaking or a deer in front of you, and it's like I've dealt with lots of different kinds of adrenaline. And like to this day, I've like when I was getting baptized, it's hard to like put into words, but I've never felt like God's presence more like vivid, like like I could reach out and touch it. Never felt his presence more like strong in my life than like that moment of being baptized. It just like, I have to think back on it a lot, because days are tough, man. I mean, it's times are tough. Social media, distractions, like all this stuff. And sometimes like I think this is totally normal, like doubts creep back in at times. It's not like you get baptized, you're a believer, and then like life is great and it's all just like, it's all great from here. It's like everyday battles, and it's like, you let the doubt creep back in. And it's like, I think back to that day a lot, where it was like, it was undeniable that like I felt like God was with me, like physically, when I was being baptized. And I've never felt that anywhere else. Like I've never felt that strong of his presence like there in that moment. So that's maybe something that kind of compares to what you experienced. But
for sure.
Jumping back into your story, so you have this get up moment. Like, take us from there.
So I had that moment, and then the hard part kind of crept in. All the mental stuff of like, I got back home, Well, that get up moment, let me finish the dream.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, go.
The sequence was like, he said, get up. I said, I can't. I said, oh no, I've second guessed God. And then I fly up and nearly jerk all the medical equipment out. And later, Alex had told my mom and Alex had prayed, my wife had prayed bedside about show them a sign that I would move that left side. And this was the same time I was having the dream, the same time as that, that was the moment. So I talked to God. I feel like I talked to God with the angels in the room scenario, and I feel like I talked to God with the get up scenario. All right. So it's basically like, hey, get me through this, and I promise I will serve you for the rest of my life. So I get back home. Everything is, I survive. I'm not in, I've lost all my muscle mass in my left side. I weigh about 145, 150 pounds. And I'm just Alex is having to help me use the restroom. There's like, just a shell of a man, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And then all of that comes back of like, I'm not a man. I can't even take care of myself. I'm going to be a burden to her for the rest of her life, for the rest of my life. Like, what good is this? And then I started getting music and getting opportunities to write on Zoom. I prayed, please give me an opportunity to write, because I called my publisher and I was like, give me some rights. He's like, nobody's coming in, the pandemic. Because fast forward, we're slap dab in the middle of the pandemic. Another blessing for me, because I'm so competitive, everybody stood still. Everybody had to take a break. Well, my brother-in-law comes by, which is why we're kind of here, is to explain all this stuff, but it's part of this story. And I know I'm skipping a bunch of stuff, and forgive me, but my brother-in-law is a big hunter, big fisherman. He comes over, he goes, hey, and he's just trying to make conversation, trying to make me feel better. I'm in a wheelchair, and he's like, let's put a game camera up behind the house. I mean, right here. And I'm like, why are we going to put a game camera up? I can't, I'm in a wheelchair, Jimmy. Like, it's ridiculous. Well, I'm reluctantly going to therapy to be therapized beside these 60-year-old, 70-year-old men that are farting all over themselves. And I'm like, man, I'm a rock star. I'm supposed to be on stages. What is your purpose in this, God? I'm battling this. I'm battling mental things, therapy, mental therapy, and going through all these things of why this has happened and what it's happened. And it took me a long time and a lot of patience to realize that he was just creating a story that would give me the authority to speak on redemption, grace, and speak on tenacity. So my brother-in-law puts this camera in right behind my house after me telling him, pretty much saying, no, man, I can't. 2 weeks later, then we're in Tennessee. We're right up north of Nashville, 15 miles. And a 175-inch deer comes up. And that's not me just saying, I've seen a 175-inch deer. You've seen one. It walks up behind the house. Lee, when I tell you something happened to me, my attitude, by the way, he put it up down there, and I looked at it 5,000 times a day because we were in the middle of COVID. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, put more up, shower the whole thing. Let's call more. They're like, whoa, we can't, you're not making any money. We can't have $1,000, $5,000 a month bill here. But he puts this up. 2 weeks later, the 175-inch deer comes up, and I go up to Alex and I said, I've got to learn how to climb a ladder. She looks down. I'm in a wheelchair. She's like, you got to learn how to walk, bro. I show her the picture, and she goes, you're not going to Kansas. I said, look at the picture. Oh, my God, that's behind the house. Go to my therapist. This gets good. I said, I got to learn how to climb a ladder. I rolled in there in a wheelchair. He goes, man, let's get one step in front of the other. Literally, you got to learn how to walk. Showing the picture. What? You're not going to Iowa? What are you talking about? No, this is behind my house, 100 yards behind my house. Oh, my God. He's a deer hunter from Mississippi, so he's like, oh, my gosh. So he goes, all right, get on that VersaClimber. And I look like you would think, on a VersaClimber. And we didn't start there. We started there with like quads. He knew how to. But long story short, I started climbing.
At this point, are you like able to stand up?
Yes, I can stand up.
Can you walk?
I can walk with assistance. I can walk with a walker, but it's shaky.
Yeah.
See the deer, all right, month turns into 2 months, turns into 3 months of going into, I didn't even want to go to rehab at first. But I prayed, please get me with a guy. I've met my now therapist and one of the first guys I met was George Kittle, the tight end. He was working out at Resilient where we worked out, and God knew I needed to work out with athletes because I needed to get back to the stage. And that was a huge thing. The music, to get back to people, had a purpose. But man, when I saw that deer, the pandemic had taken away the shows. So when I saw that deer, I was like, all right, I got to learn how to climb a ladder. Started working really, really hard towards that. And 2 months after that, I climbed a ladder. And like I said, I fast forward around a bunch of stuff, a bunch of fear. Why would you want to climb a ladder? You're going to fall. I mean, a ladder stand is dangerous enough anyway. So I go out there, and I remember getting down the hill. Alex helped me down the hill the first time. This was like I can't remember exactly when it was, but I climb up this ladder with Alex at the base of it, like, are you okay? I mean, like 100 yards down that way. And I get up there, and I hunt that deer for 2 years. Well, I don't want to go down that far. I hunt that deer for 2 or 3 months, and I go back to my neurologist for a checkup. I walk in the room, and he's like, "Well, dude, nice to see you walking. What's up? How are you? You look amazing. Your eyes are clear." And I was like, "Oh, I'm good, man. What's up?" I started like back to Drake, back to the things like high-fiving, slapping, doing all this stupid crap I used to do. And he's like, "What have you been doing, dude?" And Alex goes, "I'll tell you what he's been doing. He's been hunting every day. There's this deer behind our house that he's obsessed with, and he will not stop." I mean, I was trying to drag corn in wheelchairs, and like I was trying to. Well, you can't feed back here, so I wasn't. You can't feed and hunt over deer, so I wasn't. Anyway, I was trying. People are going to be like, "Yeah, right." No, it was. My point was, I was just so committed because I had a purpose. I had a plan. And by the way, my creative director documented all of this stuff. Not every single thing, but we went through and I had this idea. I wrote this song called The Hurt's the Healing during this, about like, even in the worst, I got a feeling maybe the hurt is the healing. If I'm hurting, I'm healing. Because everything was so painful, rebuilding this left side, making sure my shoulder would stay in the socket, and making sure, everything was just brutal. And I'm backtracking a little bit, but like the neurologist said, your brain scans and the neuroplasticity that is formed around that lesion, like I can't really tell and say that this is it, but I'm telling you, you're a different man than you were 2 months ago. And all I can say, Lee, is after I saw that picture of that deer, it gave me a purpose, and that primal instinct of that hunter and that provider that's been buried deep within me. And we're talking 3 months prior, my wife was having to help me wipe. Like, bro, rock bottom had a basement.
Yeah.
One picture of a deer gets me back. So all these people that think that we're just out here, a lot of people are, and I get it. And I always said your trophy is your trophy. I know Waddell says that a lot. Like 30-06, upright bow, crossbow, I don't care. Well, if I'm out there, I'm talking to God. This deer healed me. Hunting heals. Nature heals. God is in that nature. God was in that deer. And guess what? I never killed the deer. And I have had the thought, nobody killed that deer around here, or I would have heard about it, because I put out feelers. And I've had the thought, what if that was an angel deer and wasn't even and God just put the deer out there because he knew there was two ways to get to me. That was a song or a deer. And that's the reason I'm sitting here in front of you, is because we documented all that and have a documentary coming out September the 17th. It's going to be on Real Trees YouTube.
I knew y'all were putting together a film for it.
Yeah.
So there's real footage. Like, y'all documented a lot of this, right?
We documented a ton of me learning of the actual stroke. We have the actual footage of the stroke in there, which is brutal. I can't even hardly watch it. All the way to me arguing with my wife and like, I'm going to do it. I don't care if I have to crawl down there. And just the nervousness, the ASMR type thing of the boot against the frosty rung and thinking, heart pounding of like, if I slip and fall, I'm back to where I started. And I haven't, stepping into that abyss, that black abyss, was something that I'm very proud of, because it was really hard to get up before daylight and give myself, I would get up at like 4, to be right there at, 6.
Gosh.
Because it was just,
that
it was
big of an ordeal.
So much work. And how many times have you taken for granted that you can run, get on a electric bike or a four-wheeler and zoom out to a place? And everything slowed down, and we were in the middle of the pandemic, and I had questioned God and questioned all this stuff. And for once in since the stroke, I had a purpose, and I had a pursuit, and all the other P's that are out there. I had a provider mentality, and I was a man again. I was out there in my stand, in my element, talking to my maker, and he so gracefully started showing me why he took me through something so tumultuous.
My thought, and you already kind of said it, but like, was it a ghost deer? Like, that was kind of my thought, like almost off the rip, was like, it wasn't a ghost deer, but also like, what are the odds of getting a 175-inch deer on camera in anywhere in the country? Really rare thing. And the fact that, like,
50 yards behind my house,
right? The timing of that is. Here's the thing that I think, like, the way certain people can kind of look through life, like, they can look at it like it's just, we're just wandering blobs and this is all like meaningless and there's no, like, everything is just a coincidence. And it's like, I think that when you sort of flip the script a bit and you look at it through a different lens of, like, maybe this was kind of like orchestrated. Maybe that, like, I just don't, I refuse to believe in coincidences so strongly. And it's like, to have a deer like that at a time in your life when, like, you needed something to just, like, pull you out or give you something to strive for, like something that, like, entered the deepest parts of our passions and souls. Like, I've always thought God has worked through our passions. It's like, was it a coincidence that deer was there at that time for you to, like, have that warrior mentality of, like, I'm going to do this. You can't stop me. feels like 110-inch deer, you know, like would you have had the same drive?
I needed to see some bone, man. You know, it just was one of those deer. I mean, I still see it all the time, you know, and think about it, man. And coincidences, there's never been anything. It gave me so much drive, and we're going through something insanely difficult right now, and I haven't shared it with anybody. With my wife's pregnancy, like insane odds that this baby, that our baby is healthy, and it's just so hard. And I watch the Maker of the Mountains curate this thing and get me through that stroke. And this is way harder than the stroke, it feels. And it's like, why me? And I'm reminded by really, really wise people of why not you? Like, he tested Job, and he asked the devil asked him to test Job, basically. And everybody talks about Job, and everybody goes through that story. But like my buddy reminded me right before you got here today, Frankie Ballard, shout out to Frankie. And Frankie says, man, you know, he knows that you will persevere through it. And he knows that you'll talk about him on podcasts. He knows that you'll talk about him on stages. And I'm telling you, I'm not trying to beat anybody over the head with the Bible. I know there's a lot of church hurt out there. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't see the Lord when they see a hawk or see a red bird or see a whitetail walk into a clover field that you've worked for, and or somebody show up with a bunch of corn that they're going to give you and you didn't have to work for it like you did today. Oh, you didn't give me that corn yet.
I'll give you some.
It's nothing happens in a coincidence for me. It's all to keep him first, and to keep his plan is better than our plan. We always have a plan. We're flawed individuals. Everybody's a screw up. Everybody's screwed up. And for me, it's still hard, and I have bad days. I have bad days all the time. But man, that deer, and hunting and being in the woods and getting off of my phone and getting into a natural zone of where, you know, there's birds singing and there's things happening that's not that is outside your power. That's just where it's at, man. That's where it's at for me.
It's hard for me to like be in a stand and watch a sunrise and like see all the beauty and the colors, just like the wildlife come to life, and just like it's hard for me to kind of going back to the like just, you know, is this all coincidence? It's like there has to be a creator. Everything's so beautiful and so pure, like when you're out in the wild in the woods, and it's like that has been my healing place for lots of instances in my life.
Yeah.
And it's like where I am most connected to him. And like I've said this so much, but like I mean it. Like I don't know where I would be without hunting. I may not be a believer, to be honest with you.
You rarely meet hunters that aren't believers.
I think it's just because of the things they see and experience. And it's like, it's hard to not just think like, man, this is by design. This is not just random, you know, things that just like a big, I'm not going to get philosophical because I'm way more simple-minded than like the science of everything, but it's like, I think sometimes you have to boil it down, like, and sort of like think of it a little more simply, because it's like there's design to this. This isn't just by happenstance. And it's funny. It's not funny, but like we all go through these times in our lives where you're looking around and you're like, why me? Like none of this makes sense right now. Like I can't make sense of what's up from down. Like why am I going through this? There's no purpose in this. And I remember talking to, I won't say their names, but I remember talking to a really good friend of mine. I mean, he's in the hunting industry, and he was going through like a really bad breakup. And I remember telling him, and I've passed this along to people because like I've experienced this enough in my life, and you are an icon of this, but it's like what you're seeing and experiencing now, you may not understand, but there's a day coming that you will. And I told my buddy this, and it's just something as simple as a rough breakup, right? I'm like, look, dude, I know that this feels like the world is ending, and you can't make like this, nothing makes sense, right? Like what good could possibly come from this? And I'm like, you got to give it time. You know, you got to give it time. You gotta trust. And I was like, there is a day coming, and I'm not a very smart man, but I do know, I'm certain of some things. There is a day coming. It may not be tomorrow, may not be next week, maybe not next month, maybe not next year. There's a day coming where you're going to look back on this and you'll understand, like, that's why that happened. And fast forward, he's recently married, like met the person that is meant for him on this earth.
Right.
And there was a time when he was having a conversation with me where it was like, this will never make sense in my life. And now fast forward, he's had that moment. Similar to you, and like you can speak from it from like a way just deeper place. Like I believe because of the things you went through, like kind of like you said, like it's given you the right to share in a story that will impact people that they get to hear, that like if you hadn't gone through those things, you know, it wouldn't be as like gripping to people. Yeah. And you know, like we took another guy hunting, Clark, and he had a hunting accident and fell from a stand and, you know, paralyzed. I mean, basically from close to the neck down. He's got limited mobility in his arms. And just like going through him with that journey and taking him hunting in for the first time, and like capturing that footage of him hunting for the first time since his accident. And this is what's crazy is like, we were just trying to shoot a doe. He was fearful to go. And it kind of that shell of a man. I think that Clark felt that way at times. Like he can't do these things with his son that he wants to.
It's a big thing.
Hunting with him and killing that buck, like I think brought a lot of that back to life in him. And we were just trying to shoot a doe, and it's like we had this doe and he kind of get lined up on it, and then the last minute she'd move. All right, well, let's try and shoot this one. Couldn't shoot it. And it, like all these different scenarios kept happening that like got us late enough into the hunt where it's like, oh, buck, like a buck's coming. And he was able to get on the buck and like kill this buck. And it was like a totally meant to be thing. And it's just like hunting is so much more than just hunting. It's so much more than just like killing an animal. And, you know, there's like, when you let it, you know, when you open up that door and you let it be like a deep spiritual experience, like brings you to life kind of experience. Like there's so much more than hunting. I mean, hunting is healing, kind of like we talked about earlier. And like, have you ever wondered what would have happened if that buck hadn't existed?
Yeah. I think about it all the time, you know, and you know, I think about how thankful I am for, I mean, it got me back to stage, like walking upstairs. I think about the stairs now. I think about how strong, like now that I'm back to where I'm at, like it expedited all that. And that's all I was asking God to do, is like help me get back to stage, get back to provider mentality, keep me into a victor mentality instead of a victim mentality, and then show me how I can help people. And with documented, the idea of that was pretty soon when I saw this deer. I'm like, we have to document this, because the idea of, I just wrote Hurts the Healing, and the idea of Hunts the Healing started to happen because I was in good moods. I was treating my wife good. Everything was working. And I'd always been a huge fan of the bear attack, the Revenant bear attack, and how that was shot. And I started vibing on like, all right, let's find out what lens that was. And, being a huge fan of everything that we've watched growing up, from Buckmeisters to, just all the stuff, Jackie Bushman and all the stuff we watched growing up. I love all that stuff, but I wanted to capture something from a different perspective at a different level. Not that it was better, just with those lens, with that type of intensity and that type of homage to the hunter and spirituality to a story. And this story just started coming to life, and people started being introduced to me. And I went to Honey Break. Riley asked me to go to Honey Break, and I'd already been to Honey Break. And I was like, I'm not going to Honey Break with you. I've got my friends at Honey Break. I'll get invited by them. Alex was like, what are you doing? Like, that's egotistical. Like, just go with him and Tyler and y'all have a good time. The reason I didn't want to go, Lee, is because I couldn't get my waders on. And I didn't want to reveal that I couldn't get my waders on without my wife or my dad or somebody there to help me. So I got down in the boot room. This is in the documentary. I got down this is why hunting is healing. I go down in the boot room at 3:00 in the morning to start putting my waders on. I'm drenched in sweat. 3 turns to 4, 4 turns to 4:30. Riley comes down with wet head, shaking his hair, getting that, looks like an underwear model, comes out and it's like, man, what are you doing, man? It probably just got up, walks over, and I'm just like, man, I can't seem to get these waders on. He picks me up, jerks and gets these waders in, and my foot shoves in there, and we have a great duck hunt that morning, kill like 9 species of ducks, smoke some cigars, smoke some meat, whatever. And that evening I killed that 147-inch deer on my wall. It broke me, dude. It broke me. And now me and Riley are really good buddies and have a lifelong friend of somebody that helped me, and he didn't even know it. And we interviewed him for this documentary and told him that story, and he was like, what?
He didn't even know.
No. It's never a coincidence of Alex having to say, no, you're going. A wife, somebody, you're going. You should go. I met Greg Camp, which is, I'm not sure if that was a good thing or not. No, I met Greg. I met Tyler. I met Austin Riley. I met, Drew. I'd known Drew Keith for a while, but I met all these people that helped me, through that journey. Then I killed that buck, and it's on, I think, Road Trips, but Drew's going to pick me up and carry me to the deer. I said, no, I want to walk to this deer. And I'm still hunting. I was calling him Stroker. Stroker's the name of this deer down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked to that deer and, got to take that, and it just broke all of this competitive bullshit that I had with Riley and everything else, all this worldly stuff. And it opened up into this very spiritual realm of all that stuff happened for a reason. Then it just helps me through my struggles today. It helps me be able to get on stages and go, prayer works. People are in your thing. Traffic jams there's a reason for traffic jams, and people are in your life for a reason. And so we got to document all that, and that's my goal, is to get that out. September, we're going to do a launch here September the 1st, and then September the 14th or so it'll be out. And then we're going to go to Outdoor Channel after that, mid-October, when everybody's posted up watching this stuff. But you inspired it, man, with your just unabashful faith of people, and you gave me strength, and you didn't even know me. Nothing happens for your hey, I'm going to pray. You didn't know, you don't know what that does. It does something. People don't know. I didn't even want to post a picture of a deer. 8 years ago, 9 years ago, because I wanted the whole world to hear my music. Well, hunting now has become such a part of my healing. I can't hide the fact that I'm a hunter and a provider. Like, that's just what I am. And so that's what this captured. And I feel like it doesn't matter if you're a tree hugger, Patagonia wearing, Californian granola eating, whatever. I love granola. You know, I love Patagonia stuff. Yeah. It's great stuff. But my point in explaining all the shooting and all the Revenant style shooting of it is, I think, you know, this film is anointed. Like, it wasn't hard to do. It all came together. You know, it got funded. One person funded. You know, Brandon Adams and Banded, you know, Honey Break, and the guys at Real Tree, the guys at Bushnell. It was done. So it's not going to be like a Talladega NASCAR race of like, here's all the sponsors and here's all the things. And like, it's not a competition of how many people watch it. But man, I do feel that the same pressure that you feel, because I really want people to see this thing, and because it helped me. It literally helped me. But then I go back and like, look, who needs to see it will see it
for sure.
And it's just an amazing story, and it's by the grace of God that I'm sitting here.
Well, I think that what you experience in your story is not done yet. I think it's still coming full circle with hopefully this podcast, and then obviously when this film launches, like I think that like it's still growing. Yeah. You know, it's like what you went through has yet to reach all the people and impact all the people that it's going to. This is still like the beginning of I'm personally really excited to see that film, and even just us crossing paths. Like, I wasn't even supposed to go to that to the
NWTF.
Well, NWTF, but the what's Riley's bar here? The Duck
Blind. Yeah.
Duck Blind. Yeah. We weren't even supposed to go there that night. Mm-hmm. We had, because you know, we were only given a certain amount of like tickets, people that could go, and we had like a big group, so we were like, no, we're not going to go. And then kind of last minute, we were able to figure it out. And it's like, you know, we probably we definitely wouldn't have crossed paths that night. And it's it's just, you know, again, you can look at life as like, this is all just blah 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 and coincidence, or it's like, no, you can look at it through a lens of like, there's meaning to a lot of things, and like there's bigger picture things that are happening, and like God uses people. I feel like He's used me in what we've done with Seek One, and like I still don't feel like I have the credentials. Yeah, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, all the time.
I think like He can use anybody.
Yep. Look at Peter, John. Look at all of His disciples.
Yeah, like I feel extremely unqualified, but I think that He uses anybody and everybody, and that will let Him. And you know, it definitely feels that way at times. Because like, you know, I did a podcast recently with working class bow hunter guys, and they're like a pretty rough group. They're really fun, and enjoy doing a podcast with them. But like, you know, I cussed on their podcast and told a story about like getting arrested when I was younger for it's like a week before my 21st birthday, and drinking alcohol before my 21st. And anyways, you know, it's like you could look at that and be like, man, this guy's fake Christian, you know, like, and it's like, no, I don't think that it's whether you have some alcohol or whether you cuss a little bit, like that's not it. You know, He uses, and kind of like you said, like He uses I forgot how you worded it, like flawed people, or just like, man, I'm at the front of the line personally. Like, yeah. I don't know if you feel that way too, but it's like, if He can use me, I feel like He can use anybody. And we have people come up to us constantly that are like, man, hey, like keep doing what you're doing. Keep the main thing. And it's like, it's not always easy. It's difficult at times. And again, I feel unqualified, but like, I do believe in something bigger that's happening beyond us. And I hope that, man, I hope 1 million people see this podcast and the video y'all are coming out with. And that's what like the world needs right now. and especially the hunting industry, is more stories of like just being raw and real and vulnerable and inspiring people. And one of my things, and this kind of just dawned on me, is like, you pulling out of what you went through was in you with or without that deer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was your mentality that shifted because of a thing, but it was in you the whole time to do it. And for anybody out there that's like in their own struggle right now, like, it's in you to get out of it.
Yeah.
It may not be a 175-inch deer that gives you that thing to strive for, that kind of motivates you to pull yourself out, but like, it's in you.
Oh yeah,
it was in you the whole time.
Man, that's what I'm talking about. That is worth this whole conversation. Anybody out there, it is in you, and you know it. It was a deer one night. It was a podcast one day. It was a song that I wrote one day. It was Alex sleeping with me one night, you know, and me figuring out like, that's still, it's her going and getting a bidet at Costco, and I didn't have to use her to help me use the bathroom again. I know that's stupid, but like that literally changed my whole thing. I was like, I don't have to ask her to. Anyway, it's all the stuff together that God is orchestrating. And this is not some kind of religious dogma like me. Dude, I am the king of the bar stool. Let's have a Miller Lite, you know, let's have a good time and a dirty joke. I've done it my whole life. And I mean, being from Alabama, it's none of the dogma that you think, and the veil is right there, dude. It is, you are one snap, one accident, one thing away from either positively being there or negatively being there. And it's just hunting for me. I thought that this story was, man, it's a miracle. It's a miracle that deer popped up, and you know how rare that is. So it doesn't surprise me that it happened, because my whole life watching it piece together and watching people come to go, well, I've sat on a bar stool with him and drank a beer. Like, I might try this book of Acts out, or I might try this Job book. Like, what's he talking about? Hopefully people do that.
Yeah.
Hopefully people watch this, and hopefully they find their way to the woods, and then they may find their way to the woods, and the woods may push them into, man, you gotta, somebody had to make that, like some divine power had to make. I mean, have you ever seen a hawk hit a rabbit at, you know, Mach 3? Like, it's an awesome world.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
And it, like, I think it's pretty easy to believe in, just generally speaking, like demons. If there's demons, there's angels.
Oh yeah.
Sorry to break the news.
Yeah. I would say if there's angels, there's demons, because I think more people are apt to believe in angels. Oh yeah, I got an angel. I got a this, or I got a that. And I just said that without even thinking. But like, there's a constant battle between good and evil, and you're watching it roll out on the media all the time.
Oh, all the time,
and
every day.
Just out there in the woods, it's brutal, man, and it's a dog eat dog world, but you get out there and there's no bias, there's no anything. That deer's trying to survive. That bobcat, that fish, that eagle, that whatever, it's just the best. It's the best being out there in the purest form of therapy I've ever seen.
Man, I can't thank you enough for sharing your story.
Yeah, man.
I know for me personally, like, I mean, I go through these like times of doubt, but talking to somebody that is so like bold, Bill Thompson is another buddy of mine that every time I talk to him, it's like the same sort of takeaway for me, or someone kind of in my shoes, is like, when you talk to somebody who is just so bold and like so confident, it spills over into my cup, you know, and it's like, it gives me more confidence, and it starts to like remove some of that doubt that I think is perfectly normal for people to have. So I've enjoyed the heck out of this.
Me too, man.
I know you gotta get to the Opry.
Yeah, head of the Opry.
We're pushing it. We've almost done 2 hours.
That's awesome, man. What time is it?
3 o'clock. Yeah,
we're good.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you being persistent with me, dude. I'm like so ADD, and keeping up with stuff is like a fault of mine, or flaw of mine. Being persistent, and this was something I've wanted to do ever since that day we talked at NWTF.
Yeah,
and I think the timing of it's been perfect.
His timing is perfect, man, and I just appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, thank you so much.
September 1st, right?
September 1st. I hope if you're not, you'll probably be in the Elkwoods, won't you?
September 1st will be some openers of some seasons, so I'll be out hunting, but I will 1,000% be tuning into it. Yeah,
we're gonna have a big night out there. And here's the thing, too. One more, if I was gonna wait on everybody, and I know that I don't want to end on this, but like if I told Tyler, we were talking about when to do this. You got to stick the flag in the ground and just do it. It's kind of like the text with the blue lined up, and you're afraid to text the one more text. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
The story's bigger. The story needs to be heard. I'm sticking it in the ground. So September the 1st, it goes out. September the 15th. By the way, we've got a ton of shows this fall that we're going to be out all over the country. We're going to be out with Riley Green and Jamie Johnson. That show is amazing. If you've never been to those shows, just
y'all coming through Atlanta anytime soon?
Maybe.
Anywhere in the South, name it. I need to be there.
Yeah.
I gotta go to one of them.
That's a good show for a country music lover, for sure. Maybe Riley will let you get up and sing.
Just give me my shot.
We should just scare the shit out of you for sure.
Oh, you know what I mean? Don't. Oh man, yeah. You talk about adrenaline.
That would be awesome.
I wouldn't be able to control that. I would.
Let's try it. Let's do it.
Man.
Let's do it, Riley.
Don't even put that idea and speak it into existence. I would be terrified.
That'll be awesome. That's what we're gonna do
then. There was a split second where I was like, yeah, I'll pull up the voice memos on my phone and play it, but I just can't.
He almost did it.
Let me see if I can find one. I'm kind of worried. I don't know what voice memos I have on here, so I'm like kind of hoping that I don't play one that's like, super embarrassing, like
a.
Hey, it's Drake.
Yeah. I can't believe I told that story.
See, this is like, I mean, maybe this is like some ad reads. That's the deer?
It.
Oh man, that's a giant.
Yeah. He's every bit of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's really, I mean, he's palmated all over.
Gosh. That was how many years ago?
2020. It was 2020.
20. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
I'm gonna spare the world this because I'd have to find it.
I've got to hear it at some point.
See, those are ad reads I was working on. November 9th. Oh, no.
Let's hear it.
No, I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I can. I think I'd be way too embarrassed.
That's so funny.
Oh, dude, I'm beat red.
Hey, it's not
Dude,
bad.
I'm so beat. That's embarrassing as hell for me.
I'm glad you did that. All right.
I can't believe I still
We're
have
gonna
it
get
on
you
there.
Something in the orange. It's good, man.
Dude, my face is red. We'll end it on that. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I enjoyed the heck out of it, dude.
Yeah,
I'm going to come see a show for real. I'm not singing something in
wait.
the orange, though. But
I don't know, man. I feel like that needs to happen.
No, the world's not ready.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Appreciate you tuning in.
Peace
Again,
out.
September 1st on Real Trees channel.
September 1st on Real Trees channel. Then it'll be on, we'll start there.
What's it called?
It's called Ladder to the Sky.
Ladder to the
Hunts
Sky.
Hunts the Healing documentary. But this is episodic in nature is what I'm thinking, that we keep doing it and keep helping people.
Yeah.
Hope you're part of that as well, which it seems like you're going to be.
Love to be.
And but this specific, I've got a song called Ladder to the Sky, which is such a cool, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, Ladder to the Sky
is what it's called.
Yep.
Cool. Ladder to the Sky, September 1st. Thank you guys for watching, listening, and be sure to not miss that. See you guys.
Peace out.